Happy Saturday, guys. Quick look at the markets here. A lot of noise about the markets rolling over, about us being overextended, about comparisons to years past that we're ready to roll over. And, markets can be resilient far longer than you can ever imagine, right? And this market is still bullish. This is the S&P 500 here, still looking like it wants higher price, although volume's not there, right? So you wouldn't be buying this right now, the S&P 500 index. But, looking at the indexes first. Came off on volume on Friday, but again, we're just hanging out here in lighter volume. Once this holds on greater volume here, then the projected price move is 687. So there's actually a projected price move higher than this for the market to go higher. We're just not there yet. There's no volume, so you wouldn't be doing anything. You wouldn't buy it right now. It is in stratospheric territory. Same thing with the QQQs representing the Nasdaq. The projected price move here is 633. So if you look in the daily, you can kind of see the ABC structure. When it breaks out here, you take the highs here, just to give a quick recap. You take the lows here, right? Take the difference, add it to the bottom of the dip, and that's what gives you the projected price move. We're just bouncing around here on lighter volume. We didn't take it out on greater volume. So the indexes are just hanging out. That doesn't mean that it's over. It doesn't mean the market's over. The market can run far longer than anyone can imagine. And that's what I want you to get or understand. We can always... It can fall out of bed at any time, right? So it doesn't matter that we're where we are now. It's still a strong market. And we will know when the market rolls over, by the way. I'll take your attention back here to 2025 when we knew this was falling over. You start to see signs. And I'm looking down here, by the way, even though I'm following the chart. I'm looking down here to see an expansion of sell volume. So once we got to here, this was alarm bells right here that we're going to go lower, right? So we shorted from here down to here. The same thing materializes here. It's not going to fall out of bed in one day is the point. Quick look at a few stocks. Tesla still wants higher price. Everyone's looking at this and saying, well, this is a big bearish engulfing bar, which it is, but you look at it in the daily and yeah, we got volume, but here's your support, right? So we expect it to come down here and test the 425. It did and rejected on lighter volume. Again, I'm looking down here. You can always look in the window in the upper left-hand corner as well, and red, it tells you the volume. But you can see the volume here was 163 million. We pushed down yesterday on 132 million. Not enough volume to go lower. We bounced. So this still has a projected price move of 688. Nothing wrong with it. Apple is pushing for all-time highs. It wants that 260. And there's not enough volume yet. If you compare it to this breakout point right here, we're looking at the 260 level here. That's why that line is in there. But when it breaks 260, 308 is the projected price move. That looks fine. Nvidia and the semiconductors, that looks fine. You notice it pulled back, but again, look at the volume. It's just lighter volume. That's all it is. There's no volume up here. So there's that, which means there's no buyers or sellers. But we're still hanging out above the breakout here. You look at Lam Research, it's fine, resting. You look at Palantir, it's fine. This is why you don't buy this early. Palantir, after all these ABC structures, right now we're waiting for Palantir to break out of the 190. When it takes out the 190, it's going to 266. Again, it sounds crazy. You think, well, this is overvalued. Maybe. You trade what's in front of you, right? So you don't worry about that. But notice we approached, but we weren't able to do that, take this out on volume. And so because we didn't have volume is here, I guess, if you look at this candle down here, but we weren't able to take it out. It's just this sideways chop. Hood the same way. Everyone says Hood's overvalued. It's had a huge run for a while now, since 24, all the way from under $10 up here to 148. Projected price move here is 176. So you'd be taking some off if you own Hood. Bitcoin and coin is breaking out. We're in Bitcoin or coin. Coinbase, and the projected price move here is 397. So you can kind of keep your eyes on that. Scanning a few more charts. Yeah, financials and Goldman Sachs kind of hanging out, rolling over. Not sure what's going to happen there. Meta, not ready. And there's nothing wrong with this one either, by the way. You look at this and you say it's down. Again, we don't buy it until it breaks on volume. It can come all the way back down to here and it's fine, right? So typically, you look at this bar here, the open and the close, the high and the low. It's not unusual for it to bounce back and forth between that high and low. This isn't bearish at this point, right? But we're waiting for it to take out the highs, and when it does that, you look into the price target from memory here of 1,038, if I'm correct. So not a problem. This may come back down here and retest. That's not bearish, even though it's rolling over, but it's also not ready to break out. So this wouldn't be on your A list, right? Oracle, same thing. We're just resting after a big move. Amazon, next, same thing. Again, I could draw this way. You look at this line right here. It's not uncommon for it to come back and test the low of this line. This is not bearish, but it's also not bullish. You would not buy it right here. You'd wait for it to take this out here. When it takes out this high here, I figure what the projected price move I think is 323 if I'm correct. But again, this is just all chop that you would avoid. Google resting after a strong run. CrowdStrike coiling up, ready to go, but you'd wait for it to take out the highs. I don't remember off the top of my head where the projected price move is, but that's where you risk the least for the greatest amount of reward. Avago, which I think is Broadcom, same thing, just kind of hanging out. There's not much going on there. So you look at all these stocks, there's nothing bearish about the market right now. Everyone's concerned about it being overvalued, that it's going to correct. And to be fair, October is a time for volatility seasonally. So there could be rollovers. And if that happens, it's not the end of the world. You know, there's going to be corrections. Things don't go up in a straight line. I would suggest, in my mind, if it does start to roll over, where would it go? Without doing a lot of homework here, it could come back down and retest these lows. You know, that's possible. And again, I'm using the SPY as a proxy for the S&P 500. If that happens, that's not the end of the world. Look how insignificant and small that is. Not a big dip at all. But that's possible. So make sure you have your stops in place. This breakout isn't confirmed yet, like we said before. Just make sure you have your stops in place and you'll be fine. Same thing with the QQQs. Look at where the volume bars are, right? Look at where the volume is. I'm looking down again, but I'm noting the price here. Could the QQQs pull back? Sure. But that's just how markets are. That's nothing wrong with that, right? Here's a high volume bar. Could come down to here. If it breaks that, could come down here. Again, that's not the end of the world. The market is not correcting. If it starts to collapse, we'll see signs like this right here, and we'll know it before it happens. So I hope that helps you as you look at stock charts this weekend. I hope you have a great weekend with family and friends, and we'll talk to you soon.